Hello everybody, Anomalous Zero bringing you another Witcher 3 speedrun, this time Blood and Wine, any percent? Again, as of posting this, it's the world record, by a good, 30 minutes almost. And again, there's a Marcha de la Muerte run, which is pretty neat to see. I was actually streaming a few runs, but they didn't go very well, and it was hot, so I hopped off stream. And also there were some technical difficulties with 3 of the runs that were on PB world record pace that just got kapooied. One due to video reasons. I forgot to record the actual screen. That was a black screen. Oops. And one because my splits got messed up and I spent too much time fixing it. It wasn't even worth continuing. And one because The Witcher just decided to not load. Sometimes when you go into a loading screen, it just doesn't load, just hangs. Super fun. Pretty similar build to last time. This time I'm getting Ard though. I feel you can probably optimize this build a little more with some more magic. But someone would have to figure that out. Because if you can actually get the quick kills on the Bruxas, the naked lady vampires, that'd be good. Other than that, I don't use bombs as much this time. They're not worth it. The enemies are much higher level. But I still do use the freezing bombs because they're broken. Here's these fancy, vaguely European knights. When I say vaguely European, I mean just east of England, sort of that entire area. They wear fancy clothes. Also, this expansion's much more colorful than the other ones. It's pretty nice. We skipped a fight there by pressing 2. Speed deck. Here's Goylant, or Goylat. I'm actually really bad at dodging the attacks of Cyclopses for some reason. I dodge too late. I think I'm confusing them with giants. I think they have slightly different attack patterns. Also, in the Marcha de la Muerte run, they kill this guy just by shooting him in the eye. I didn't know if you shoot a Cyclops in the eye, it was a one-hit kill. It makes sense, I just didn't know it. So blah, 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 blah. Tap, 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 tap. Hop on Roach. Run away.
That's it, Roach. Brave kid, Guillaume. Palmerin oversaw his upbringing.
Not much is happening here. You don't have to wait for the guy. He'll warp here. They actually improved a lot of mechanics and stuff in this expansion. Even casually, it's better. Instead of having 5 barrels with 5 different loot drops, there'd be one composite item. That's pretty neat. See here, he warped, but we have to wait for him to get here so we can look at these tracks. Oh, and I forgot to put my decoction on. Oops. We need to look at these tracks to initiate the second part of this quest. I could have quick canceled that animation with Ard, but I forgot to. Then you have to kill these 4 dudes. Let's see if they cooperate. I don't remember. See, if you had your magic leveled up a little bit more, you could just quick kill all of them. So I'm thinking there's some sort of balance.
Drawn here by the smell of blood. Let's keep looking.
Now you have to go get this handkerchief, which says DLC. It's the DLC handkerchief. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's like that quest in the Skellig Isles where there's a mage tower protected by the... I don't remember what it was actually called, but the initials were DRM. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And the DRM was being shitty, Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because CD Projekt Red owns good old games, GOG. We don't know DRM. I thought it was quite clever. And then we just run away. No need for a horse here. Horse is terrible. The R in RNG stands for roach. It's terrible. We have to run here for some reason. I don't remember why. I don't even think it was super important casually. You run here to talk about, oh, where did they take the body, right? Because there's a killer. There's a killer on the loose, killing people. And that lady, it sort of cut to for a second. She was looking at you. And then you run a run, and you try to do a quick roach, which is turn around and call roach. Because roach tends to spawn behind you. Again, it's not at all consistent. It's pretty consistent on the bridge because there's nowhere else to go. But yeah. Yeah, roach is terrible.
Sounds like a fight. Have to hurry.
When you pass under this gate here, for some reason roach likes to stop running, so you have to press it again.
In the cellar. Gotta be.
Oop. There goes some frames. And here I pre-pot. I usually pre-pot because sometimes, usually the game just starts eating your inputs for like a second after you spawn out of a thing. So here I'm gonna, how's this? So here this fight, that went okay. Yeah, that fight went okay.
Killed all these men to get to the water.
You look at this guy, blah blah blah, he's got a sack of money in his face. He's been killed by a monster. Sort of just elevator your way up there. Run outside. Sometimes Roach is eating these bags on the right there, but he wasn't this time. He went the other way. It's fine, he doesn't really go up that hill very well. Good Roach, he can definitely spawn up top of that hill or below the hill. I'm glad he didn't. Or she, sorry. Roach is canonically female horse. And they're having a party here, and the knight you were talking to before is giving some lecture to some kids. It doesn't matter what thing you choose here. Gerald just gives them some sort of parable. And it's time for the tummy rubs. So this boss I thought was really, really hard until I tried the tummy rub strategy. Only thing that can fuck it up is if that knight starts attacking, and then it won't roll. Then it rolls, it misses, and you can just blender it. Easy. I messed up my splits here. I don't know what I did. I'll have to double check that. Might have to add a couple seconds to my time. That's fine. Looks like I'll have to add a couple more seconds. Blah, 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 blah. We talk about the murders. And then gasp. We realize it's Milton, the person we were talking to before, who's the next person. Because he's afraid of rabbits and he's dressed as a rabbit and whatever. So the queen, no, the Duchess rips off her dress and steals a horse and takes off. And of course, Gerald follows.
Your Grace seems right at home in the saddle.
Oh, she also gives you a house, but you only use it for fast travel, so yeah. It's pretty nice casually. It gives you a whole bunch of buffs. She stops here. I don't know why. It's still like another 100 meters. I think if you can make that corner down the stairs, you can keep galloping down it. It's a tight corner, though. And then you have to get the golden fish and the unicorn horn, and she's gonna get the phoenix egg. If you watch old speedruns of this, like the Marcha de la Muerte, he just jumps off the railing. They patched something. You used to be able to roll at the bottom, and you wouldn't take damage or as much damage. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way. Here's the unicorn. The first 5 times I ran this, probably more, I could just press Q as soon as this cutscene ended, and it would just work. I would have the unicorn.
Damn it.
And now I have to like chase it all the way up this hill. It's horseshit. I don't know what I did.
Almost had it. Come on, stay calm.
I don't know what happens if you don't mind control those guys. I've never not chosen one there.
Those are huge.
I assume probably nothing. Maybe a fist fight. And then you hop on the unicorn. Quote unquote unicorn. Horse with the dildo on its head.
Golden fish should be easy to spot once I'm under.
If you don't go to this fish first, there's a cutscene, though it's a speedrun, so why would you go to any other fish first? You still end up with the key, it just takes a little longer.
Faster.
And I believe here I'm a little far left in my path. Yeah, and so I missed the ramp upwards. It's probably faster just to get off and run. I was a little tilted from all the last 3 runs where technical difficulties fucked me over.
If you please.
Then you get the egg and it's in the greenhouse, and if you go to the greenhouse before this time, he's not there, so don't worry about it. Don't even try.
Alright, this.
And here I just die because it's faster. Oh, this is the enemy Detlef. He's mean and stuff, but yeah. Speed strats. It's the exact same cutscene whether you kill him or he kills you. This is your old buddy Regis. You thought he was dead? I guess he dies in the books or something. I don't know. Now, it might look like that punch there was just for a roll, but actually, if you don't punch there, the next time you need to call your horse, you can't, because the call horse button won't be there. Yeah. So you have to punch sometime to get your call horse. And I just chose there. Might look like I'm taking a weird route here, but I'm trying to avoid a cutscene where a little kid runs up to you and hands you a letter from Yennefer, I think. It might depend on your romance options, but you get a letter that's like, oh, look for the island of Dr. Moreau to get your super witcher mutations, which are actually really cool casually, but useless in the speedrun because it would take too long. Anyways, I think it's faster to skip the cutscene. Here I call Roach. Roach decides to spawn in an alleyway. Thanks, Roach. Here I try again. Close enough. You want to sort of aim for just south of the target here, because the actual target is a red herring, and you have to go down a hole instead. You'll see in a second. I think I do pretty poorly here, actually. You can actually get your horse right close to it if you do well. Ooh. Oh yeah, I'm way far away. Anyway, there's the hole. Fall in the hole. Fight these 3 guys. Sometimes the first one you fight will just eat the first hit and won't take any damage from it. I am unsure what that's about. Otherwise, it's easy. And this is an illusionary wall, which you can dispel. It's got a neat little sword behind it, which is level 41, I think? Yeah, I think that one's level 41. So we meet Regis in his home. He's like, oh, don't worry, we can use the power of the cells in this hand to learn the memories of the person that had the hand, because that exists in this world. Where, like, all of your cells have all of your memory. Yeah. And we learn about a spoon white, which we thought were extinct. They were spotted whites, supposed to be extinct, killed by the Witchers, but just another one. Luckily, otherwise we'd be fucked. It's a good thing one more exists. Yeah, it collects spoons. It's freaking creepy. These people lose a horse. Here I actually travel on the road a little bit to regain stamina. Don't worry about that blood smear on the ground. That guy will be fine. He'll be fine. You have to regain a little bit of stamina because you don't have enough to make it all the way there in one go. And obviously we don't want to fight anyone here. There's bargeists and foglets, and no thank you. And I'm purposely leaving my horse there in the middle of danger because it won't die, and it'll distract the enemies later.
Strange. I sense that the spoons are beating out some kind of rhythm. What a pigsty.
Here I do some animation canceling by casting Q so I can examine something and immediately stop looking at it. I don't know if you have to look at all three of these things, but I'm pretty sure you have to look at all three of the things. The table, the wall, the other table, and the pot. Well, the pot's necessary, but three optional things. So you can get the fight skip, where you try to lift the curse. The trick is to just not use spoons. And you're done. You've skipped a fight. If you do fight it, it's just like a water hag or a grave hag. It's not that bad. It's slower though.
To see what happened to the white won't be hard to find given its stench.
And here I'm desperately trying to avoid combat. I'm just trying to run around the fight, around my horse, and then sneak my way to the fast travel sign. The horse is a little too far to the east, so they're a little closer to me than I was expecting, but it's fine. So we've got the saliva. It was in the stew you didn't see us eat, which is probably good because it's pretty gross. So we've got the saliva and we've got everything else. The only thing we're missing is hyper vampire blood or something. So we have to go to the vampire prison to torture our friend Regis with bloodlust. Here I'm trying to jump through the door when it's just partially open, but yeah.
The mechanism which releases the latch reacts only to a higher vampire.
Oh well.
Tricky mechanisms, a vampire hideout, fortified, secured. Must have been important to your species once.
In there I missed opening a chest.
During the conjunction, the gate from our run to this one opened.
You can get the entire set of that vampire gear in here, but we only really want the sword. I don't see any need for the rest of it. It just slows your stamina regeneration. I guess I do have a couple close calls later on.
Place the bait at the tunnel.
So these little trap smears on the ground, they are a pain. They're hard to see because their context menu doesn't come up until you're right over them. And the ones where you have to blow stuff away with Ard to get to them, I don't know, they just won't show up. It's a bunch of horse shit.
done.
So I suspect that this fight is actually timed. And the bar you will see soon means basically nothing. Possibly if the bar is not filled by the timer's end,
You know, something you'll say when you can't take it anymore.
then that's a problem. But every run I've seen and every run I've done has ended at approximately the same time, regardless of how quickly you kill things or how quickly the bar fills up. And it's when the vampire shows up, the catechin, or whatever. You'll notice I haven't refilled my potions since we've started. You want to sort of ration your potions up until this point, because right after this point, there's just a forced refresh. So it's faster if you don't waste all your potions beforehand.
I shall overcome.
Good, because I can hear more coming.
So there's the catechin. You can see it right there. And it's just done. At about the exact same time every time. So we got his bloodlust, and we used the hand to see the memories, and we saw Bootblack, and we saw the murders, and it turned out he actually befriended the guy with the coins in his mouth before he murdered him. Sacre bleu! What could be going on here? The plot thickens. So we're going to the Bootblack, who is a great character. I really like him. But he only works during the day, so here's where the forced rest is.
I'll feel safer with you around, Richard.
Bootblacks don't usually work nights. Need to come back during the day.
So how would you?
And here we have to fight these guys because the kid has been throwing his chamber pot, that is his human refuse, in front of their shops every day, so that people have to come get their shoes shined. The game cannot let you input stuff immediately after that cutscene before the fight, and so sometimes you just take 7 hits before you can do anything, which is super great. I'm glad that there's an input delay. Anyways, we pay the kid 500 orans, and that doesn't do anything, and then Regis comes along and gives him some magical shoe polish, and he's like, oh yeah, go to the red house, or the red door, and so we go there.
Red door. One that Bootblack mentioned.
And it turns out it's a creepy toy house. Here you have to look at these 2 things. The suspicious letter, which says, we have your ex-girlfriend, Rahanda, or whatever her name is. We're gonna kill her and torture her unless you kill the people we tell you to kill. Then you look here, and it's 4 cards with 4 names on it. And coincidentally, it's the 4 people that got killed. I would note that at this point you know that there should be a 5th victim eventually, because it's based on the 5 virtues of this land. So now we're headed back to the Queen to report on what we've got so far. She's not going to be happy, because she's a jerk.
To be honest, every last man Jacques in these parts has but wine and women on the bread.
Palace is secure.
You don't have him yet? It's been a whole day. Why don't you have him yet? And this guy's like, we'll just send an army after him. It doesn't work. And then Drell's like, we need to free his lover, ex-lover. But then he shows her the cards, and one of them has a wine stain on them, and her sommelier licks it and's like, oh, this is the royal wine. And she's like, no, that can't be. The royal wine's only for royal people. We have to go investigate this immediately. And so we're going to investigate it. If you follow them in the road, you get to a turned over cart with 2 panthers attacking it. Instead, we're just going to go right to the wine factory.
Have to fight him. Hadn't killed anyone.
They'll catch up.
Why do you flee?
Witcher, come back! You're to protect Her Highness!
Ooh. My frames. The setup for this is just go to the house you see in the distance, because you can see it in the distance even on lowest settings. Hop off your horse here, otherwise there'll be a horse cutscene. Oh, I should note I've been clipping into a lot of areas too to try to find shortcuts. I clipped into the vampire prison to see if there was anything there. The gear is there, but nothing else triggers, so it's a no-go. I haven't tried clipping into the wine cellar. I'm assuming it's not going to have anything in it. Here in preparation of the next section, I equipped my steel sword that I got in the vampire prison.
What if Fabricio's blackmailing the vampire?
And make sure I have my bombs equipped.
But I would never suspect him of such a thing. He's been very loyal. He owes all he has to me. His father frittered away the family fortune.
Yep, and I don't know a way to speed her up. And nothing can really happen until she gets down there.
Until I appointed him steward of Castle Ravenna.
Move faster, Anna. Your duchessness, your ducalness. Come on. Come on, faster. I need to look at this book. Tell me I need to look at this book.
So where do we start?
Let us see if all the barrels are present. Here's the inventory ledger.
Alright, now we can look at the book. And I know exactly where the wine is, obviously. It's up here. You confirm that it's the right wine, and now you have to knock on all the barrels. Literally every one of the barrels.
For now, a knock will suffice. If you hear about what we seek.
Don't worry, the Duchess will help you. She'll knock on one of the 6 barrels. You can do the other 5.
This one's full too. Full. This one's
And now since I know what's going to happen next, I go down here and I get a hammer and an opener or something, a spigot, a barrel tap.
Full they are.
And it might look like I'm having trouble, but it doesn't really matter. You can't open these up until she tells you to.
We shall open them one by one and taste.
ready. We can start. Ready.
Step aside.
And I open the 2 closest to her because she definitely goes back to the starting position before she gets to another one. It also doesn't matter which 2 you open, it's always the second one.
Those hints of spice. Distinctive. This is Sonreal.
Drink faster, Your Highness. You're making me lose time. And this guy's like, well, I know you gave me a job and everything, but I'm a nobleman without property. What kind of life is that? But don't worry, I'm gonna send another barrel away soon so you can do a sting. And Duchess is like, off with your head. And here's why I needed frost bombs, so I could just go like this. Now you have to be a little careful around those red barrels. Even after you've killed all the bandits, they can definitely just explode and kill you, like during this period right here. I say from experience. And now we're friends with this guy with the mustache. He's like, ah, you're all right, Witcher. And then we enhanced interrogation this guy.
Sure.
Take cap.
Yes.
He tells us that it was some foreign guy, the Menardian or something. Oh, and then this guy comes back and says that we got ambushed and there's a price on your head and you have to be careful. And the Duchess is like, oh, let's go to an art party because he has a thing for a singer and she's going to be there. That's why we're going. And it's like, you should probably get fancy clothes. And it's like, no, that's too slow. It's too slow even with the unskippable cutscene coming up. Those guys are always there, but I think the guards attack them or something, because they don't follow me ever. Doesn't seem very smart to attack me in a city full of guards. So she's very disappointed we didn't bring any fancy clothes, but she brought some for us, and this cutscene is unskippable. You can buy clothes, you can route it in. I think it's just slower than this cutscene though, so. Enjoy Geralt in all his glory. And if you're already wearing a mask, she'll comment on it and say, get that the fuck off your face, put on this instead. Because it's not the right kind of mask. This is like the wedding in Hearts of Stone, only you don't have to do all the useless stuff. You can just go right to the target objectives. So we were looking for the purple orchid, which she has in her hair, but she just got it after the singer sang and threw it into the crowd. But she was like, look for the heart-shaped box. Then we find it, and it's full of perfume, and you're supposed to follow the perfume, but we just go right to the door, because they go the long way.
Looks like it held a flask of perfume. A gift from the Synthrian, I imagine.
Scent still hangs in the air. Let's follow it.
Look,
This bodyguard is like, no, you can't come in. Wait, I recognize the voice of the Duchess. And sometimes he doesn't move out of the way of the door, and you can't get past him. I hate that guy. That only happened once, though. And oh yeah, the singer's dead. Super murdered. You have to be careful around that door. You can just definitely jump off and die, I think. I've never done it, but I assume you can. And you see it flash to loot for a second on that jewel. And one of these days, I want to loot that jewel without having to look at the necklace.
Bloody fingerprint on it.
But alas,
Thief came for this. Must have.
not today.
Links next to it. From a snapped necklace.
So you look at the necklace, grab the jewel, look at this scuffle here, and grab the knife. And then Geralt puts on his Batman hat and says, this is what happened. It's all so clear to me now. And that was her room, the redhead. She also owns this entire estate. And she's like, oh yeah, I bought that earlier. And the Duchess is like, but that's my family heirloom jewel. Oh, also she thinks her sister's involved in it now, even though she doesn't know why. And then Regis brings Detlef and everybody here. It's strongly implied at this point that they're old friends, aka the redhead is a vampire. Later that is confirmed. You will not see it in this route, but if you take the other route, she drinks children's blood. She is an evil vampire.
Should the beast you espy, tell the commander, be spry.
I put on my silver sword just so I don't forget. You have to do it sometime before the choice time. But yeah, the redhead's a vampire. And because of the hunting knife we found, we know that... Oh, Roach, what are you doing? We know that the... it's a castle somewhere north of here or something, where the killer is. And you don't see it because I'm skipping through the cutscenes, but both the vampires, Detlef and Regis, also see the knife. They don't mention anything, but there's an establishing shot of them seeing the knife, which sets up something that'll happen soon. It's actually pretty well set up. Like, I saw them see it, and I'm like, I hope that pays off, and it did. This is actually a really hard area. You have a level penalty. All the enemies are stronger than you. They have the skulls over their heads. So it's not fun. But luckily I've had very bad experiences here enough times that, you know, I know how to blunder them. It's the archers, or the crossbowmen, and the spear dude, who will be here in a second, that are the deadliest, in my opinion. Everybody else just sort of explodes like that. You'll notice they're getting stunned sometimes. That's because the vampire sword I picked up has a 15% chance to stun.
Roderick sent them to get the horses.
You don't have to fight those guys on the left. They'll just chill out there.
Roderick was right. We can flee. We'll manage. Someone's here. They've breached the back wall.
Geralt forgets to take out his sword, so I have to do it manually. Luckily, I got a quick kill on that guy. I use the power of the frozen north. Yeah, that was a really good fight. That area can be really hard. And here this guy is like, a woman showed up. What do you mean a hostage? I only know of the woman. Dun dun dun. And I chose to help him just because whatever. You don't have to fight any of these guys. This guy doesn't usually hit me, but he does here. But you can just run past them all. And here Regis and Detlef are here, because obviously they saw the spoon or the knife.
They shall pay for everything.
And here they like to body block you. Look at this, look at them, they just body block you. So this area is weird. I'm not exactly sure how to do it properly. You have to kill some number of the guards. I know it's not all of them. Sometimes I go to the next stage without killing all of them. You have to kill some number of them, and then you'll just transition into the next stage. And the time range can go from however fast I do it now, which was really quick, I was very happy, or add 2 minutes to that. Like, it could be 2 extra minutes on top of this. Like, that's what all this time save is just a quick courtyard fight. And here we find out that the Detlef's ex is actually the Duchess's sister. They're the same person. And she's not actually kidnapped. She's the one blackmailing him with her torture. The Duchess is like, how could you, sister? Well, whatever. Detlef is really pissed, and he's like, bring her to me in 3 days at the vampire prison, or I will burn this land to the ground. And obviously the Duchess doesn't do that, because why would she? She's also very sad we haven't found Detlef yet. She's angry again. And then a vampire attacks, because that's what Detlef said would happen. I think this is actually a pretty mediocre fight. The guards like to get in your way. Yeah, like I barely hit her at all there. Get her. Get her. Oh my god, naked. Oh, I'm almost dead. Alright. That was a pretty sloppy fight. You can do way better than that. Sometimes you can just two-cycle her. And then Regis is here and he's like, oh, we should get the sister, the girlfriend sister, and give her to Detlef. And we can all talk it out. And then the other option is to go to the Elder Vampire and force Detlef out of hiding, because he has to listen to the Elder Vampire. I'm going after the sister. I don't know if it's faster. It feels faster to me, but that could just be psychological. Oh right, I remember, Regis fucks me here. He just doesn't move. Look at him. He's just standing there and he's like, you know what? You're on a pretty good pace. You had a really good courtyard. I'm gonna fuck you. I'm gonna screw your run up. Now, I had a really good courtyard, so I'm just gonna reload the checkpoint. If I had a bad courtyard at that point, that's a rip run. I would have just probably gone on even more tilt. Why that happens, I don't know. I can go on without him, but if I go on without him, I have to meet up with him later, and there's no fast travel during the vampire attack, as far as I know. So it's just too much slower. Because the meetup point is like on the opposite side of the entire place.
Never thought lesser vampires would heed a higher vampire's calling commands.
As a rule, they don't.
So how Deadloff sick them on the city?
Just like the area in Hearts of Stone, you can jump through those bats there.
Continue attacking until he orders them to back down, until he dies.
Here we have another Felidar fight, or Fledar fight, whatever. Blender. You have to kill that Fledar so you can look at these blood stains, and now your dude will follow you, so it's good.
Need to rook formation. Ran.
That's it. It's dangerous.
I check a couple times because sometimes you get stuck. Glory, glory, that's good. You don't have to kill these people. Just go. And I think there's a way to lure this guy out of the way. I think I saw somebody do that, but I'm just gonna blender. 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 Good enough. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I can clip into the building in the courtyard that you're supposed to go up to, but nothing has collision in there. The inside of the building isn't actually fabricated. There's nothing inside of it except for the areas you see in the cutscene. And none of that stuff has collision because I clipped through walls and landed on it and just fell to the ground.
Of course.
That's a story mode attack there. If you go up on the left, you get hit by that Fledar, and then he saves you by killing it. I just go up on the right and he kills it anyways. You'll notice that he kills it a lot faster than he killed the other ones. Oh, here I found out you can just blow that door open with Ard. I didn't know that before. Regis likes to block you there, though. It's really annoying. So there's a key behind the painting, and then you have to read option 3 on the journal.
What for the girl.
And then the book is in the wardrobe.
Where's that book?
The wardrobe. And then you get thrown into storybook land. If you read the sign at the start, it's like best before some date that's 20 years ago. Again, I don't know if this way is faster. It feels faster to me. The ending's a lot faster. But might not be. I'm better at this route for sure. Also, you get to go to like Narnia. It's great. So here's the Hansel and Gretel witch. She has a pot full of acid, and she spawns enemies. The first cycle, she throws this plant here that is gross. And the second cycle is a panther. I have no idea what the third cycle is. I've never gotten that far. You can also hit her with a crossbow in addition to Ard. But I don't know, shoot Ard. You do not have to aim Ard. Ard's a lot easier to use. So that's Hansel or something. He was in the oven because he ate the gingerbread. And we have to go find Joss, who knows about the 3 beans from Jack and the Beanstalk. Because that's the way out of here. I don't know. And her sister hid the beans. Oh yeah, and a court magician made this place for them when they were kids. Sorry. That's why this place even exists. I'm not fighting those guys. They're pixies or something. They're not really hard to kill, but... And a unicorn roach. An actual unicorn, not just a horse with a dildo on its head. And then there's the boy who cried wolf, which is Joss, and we have to kill these wolves. And this is another reason why I think a more magic-focused build might be better, for this route at least. Because if you knock these wolves down, you can just quick kill them. And there's 3 other enemies later that can also be knocked down and quick killed, but you just need more sign intensity. So it might be faster.
Yep.
Now there's also a whole bunch of bosses too, so you do need to be strong. Yeah.
What? What? I'm not it.
So Joss tells us the exact opposite of the place where the beans are, because he tells the reverse truth, not just a lie, the reverse truth. And the first one we're going to go for is at Rapunzel's place. Right? Tower, hair. I think you can die if you fall off here. I've never done it before, but I'm pretty sure you can die. The ladder here is very precarious because it's right near the edge. And Geralt moves like a tank. That step right there can be a pain to get up to. Yeah, usually you go in here and you see that she's hung herself on her hair. And she's a banshee now. Usually you'll deal 1/3 of her health and she'll go into the body and heal and summon some skeletons. And then she'll come out and attack you again and blah 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 skeletons. I one cycled it. That's the first time I've ever done it. Pretty happy about that. It's a terrible fight. Next we head to the northwest and we're going to go see the 3 little pigs. They can also be knocked down and quick killed, which is again probably a more optimal build that has stronger ARD. Or stronger sign intensity, not necessarily ARD. Because the second level of ARD actually weakens the knockdown chance. And ha ha ha, you're the wolf and you blow their house down. The pigs like to hide in that mushroom patch to the back of their house there, and they just get stuck in there and there's not really a good way to attack them. It's pretty shit. This is actually a really bad fight. I've had way better fights than this. Okay then. I guess I dropped a whole bunch of frames there. I don't know why I'm dropping frames when I'm speedrunning, recording in 720p, when I didn't drop frames when I was Let's Playing in 1080p, while streaming.
Magic in general. Illusions, portals, all that. Don't trust any of it.
That's kind of ridiculous. Anyways, yeah, you kill him in the blue beans there. And now it's the big bad wolf. The big bad wolf, now that the kids weren't coming back anymore, just said, fuck Little Red Riding Hood and the hunter, and just threw them down the well.
Stop.
All right. Time to jump in the well.
And so you have to reenact it by you being the huntsman and the sister being Little Red Riding Hood. Are we going to see the Tower of Animals? Probably. I think this cutscene starts as soon as you get on land, so just the fastest place you can get to is best. Look, there they are. She's Little Red Riding Hood, and then you immediately go into the fight. And if you can get the werewolf in a corner, it's really easy to kill. Otherwise, it's kind of a pain. Just like regular werewolves. And the werewolf ate the jelly bean, so we have to cut open its stomach to get it. There's also Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I don't think they have a jelly bean. If they do, it's instead of the 3 little pigs. Unicorn Roach trolling me here. And there's also a little girl who used to sell sweets or something, but now she sells drugs. Like, and she also has a bracelet, which is how you get the good ending, by buying the bracelet for the sister. But we don't buy the bracelet because it's slower, and the bad ending's faster. Here we get ambushed by a whole bunch of these pixies right around the bean planting area. You'll notice I'm sort of trying to keep to this area and not go near the other corner. If you go near the other corner, 1 or 2 more packs of pixies spawn, and that's less than ideal. Then you plant the beans, and there's a whole little thing. And now you're fighting a cloud giant. This fight actually goes really poorly. I don't know how I got my toxicity so high. I think I must have pressed the wrong button or something. And also this is a Cyclops, which I've noted before I'm kind of bad at dodging. But I'm doing a whole bunch less damage because I don't have my potion. If you're casualing this, you want to sort of have the giant hit his hammer on an electrified cage. That'll stun him. This is a really bad fight. This is where I lose a lot of time that I gained in the courtyard. And here the sister asks if you want to have sex. I decline because it's faster. I decline casually too because I don't trust her at all. Wait, is one of them named Anna and the other one's named Cyanna? Jeez. If you follow that will-o'-the-wisp there, it will lead you to a fancy sword. Apparently there's another one somewhere in the Wonderland. I didn't follow it though, and I don't know where it is. And the exit is in this well. I don't know why. And there's a donkey sort of to the left that has gold in its poop. Don't ask me. I don't know what Fairytale that's from. And then you pop out and Regis is waiting for you because he read the diary, and you go to meet Detlef. Detlef comes and he straight up murders her. If you give her the bracelet from the Wonderland, she'll teleport back to Wonderland instead of dying here. But instead she died. And I let him go, so I go to prison. Yep, I'm in prison. For letting the sister die. And I have to wash these clothes because I'm on wash duty.
Take the stick and stir the rags. Water's almost boiled. Pack the dirty rags in the tub.
Don't worry, the stick will come eventually. There it is. And then these 3 guys ambushed me. They're the 3 guys from outside of the shoeshine. The Axie option there only removes one of the combatants. I tested, it's not really faster. And you get thrown in solitary, and then they bring you out and they're like, follow me. I try to get ahead of this guy because he pushes me a bit. I think it's faster.
All your problems will be solved once and for all.
And there's all this ominous talk about where does this lead? Oh, it's an exit. But there's different kinds of exits.
The thing is, there are different kinds.
And you're only gonna go through this exit once. I guess you can actually see this. I'm not speedrunning this part, so you can actually see the text I'm talking about.
You will never walk this path again.
This guy gets his head chopped off, and then it's like, oh, well, not you. You're going this way.
Watch that execution.
So you'd know this is no almshouse for lost orphan boys.
Which is good. Probably be kind of awkward if the last DLC ended with Geralt getting his fucking head chopped off. Might be a little bad for the fans. I know where I'm going, and you don't even have to get the guard to follow you or to lead you. If you leave him behind, he'll just stick around. You can get far enough away from him that he'll just, you know, hang back, and it doesn't matter. And it's the guy with the mustache. He's got a huge scar on his face. He still hates you. And Dandelion saved you. Hey, Dandelion. It's hinted heavily throughout, like, the story of a casual playthrough that I think Dandelion and the Duchess slept together or something. And he was made like a duke or a viscount or something like that. I don't understand royalty titles. I don't care. But then he got kicked out, I think, because he slept around. And then here, the outer gate won't open until you loot your stuff. So you loot your stuff. You can't roll under the gate, sadly. And then Regis is here, and Regis is like, how you doing? And it's great. And then you have to tell him it's a terrible idea, because otherwise you'll spend a whole bunch of time figuring out that the fifth victim would have been that countess. And because you didn't fight Detlef, your friend Regis isn't exiled from the vampires, and you don't have to go on the Hemlock quest, and you're just done. GG.
That we do.
I'll have to go check to see how much time I lost. He stared right in the camera. How much time I lost during that pause. So that's 272, and it was actually 455. Yeah, so 2 seconds. Yep. All right, so it's actually 2 seconds slower than what's posted at the end. So it's 56:54. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please consider pressing the subscribe button.